A mysterious creature lands in the most unforgiving Badlands on Earth. But this isn't just another alien invasion. Because the predator isn't here to conquer, it's here to hunt. The story begins on the planet Yautja Prime, where the Yautja fear nothing, and every other being is their prey. A spacecraft orbits the world, and aboard it a warrior named Quay searches for his brother, Dek. He eventually finds Dek concealed beneath an advanced cloaking device. As Quay attempts to track him, Dek suddenly strikes, and a brutal duel erupts between the two. Determined to prove his strength, Dek attacks relentlessly, but Quay easily counters and knocks him into a trench. When Dek climbs out, convinced he is ready to earn his place among the Yautja, Quay tells him he is not prepared and walks away. Later, Dek discovers a small toy ship Quay had saved for him. Quay explains it is a gift, his own vessel, and reminds him that to join a clan, he must hunt and bring back worthy prey or never return. While searching for a target, Quay identifies the deadly world of Jana, home to the seemingly unstoppable beast Kalisk. Dek insists he will slay Kalisk to prove to their father that he is not weak. Quay warns that failure means death, but Dek refuses to back down. Before they depart, their father arrives, furious that Dek still lives. Calling him the clan's weakness, he orders Quay to execute him and traps Dek with a device. Instead of obeying, Quay frees his brother and sends him away in the ship, then confronts their father. Using invisibility and superior power, the father overcomes Quay and kills him. With his final strength, Quay sets the ship's course for Jana, leaving Dek with the last words, "Bring it home." As the ship nears Jana, debris strikes it, waking Dek. Entering the atmosphere, a creature attacks, and the craft crashes into a dense forest. Filled with rage and grief, Dek swears to honor Quay by claiming victory. He arms himself, but the planet itself fights back. Roots lash out, forcing him to defend himself before escaping deeper into the wilderness. The environment proves lethal, littered with bones and hostile vegetation. Dek encounters a girl named Thea trapped in thick growth. When another creature triggers the plants to attack, she offers help, but Dek insists Yautja hunt alone. Poisonous plants strike him, and he collapses, only for Thea to save him from a beast before he faints. When he awakens, Thea reveals she was created and sent by Yautja for research, as humans cannot survive there. She explains many Yautja attempted to hunt Kalisk but failed. Claiming she knows where Kalisk resides, she offers guidance in exchange for joining him. With his navigation system destroyed, Dek reluctantly agrees. As they travel, Thea speaks often while Dek remains distant. She shares that she has been stranded for 2 years since her partner Tessa disappeared during a Kalisk attack. Unknown to her, Tessa survived and returned to base with new orders, to capture Kalisk and retrieve valuable specimens, while monitoring the Yautja presence. Dek continues hunting but is wounded by razor-sharp grass. A small creature appears, leading to chaos when a larger beast attacks. Dek fights fiercely, surviving multiple threats, including a monstrous monobug that captures them. With teamwork, they escape and eventually defeat it. That night by a fire, Thea suggests they make a strong team. Dek admits he once had a brother who died protecting him and that he seeks Kalisk to prove himself. Eventually, they reach Kalisk's lair, filled with corpses. Thea finds her mechanical legs and restores them. She then confesses she contacted Tessa, whose mission is to capture Kalisk. Furious at the betrayal, Dek leaves to hunt alone and sets fire to the nearby base. Fire heard the frightening noises of Kalisk getting closer. A brutal fight erupted between Dek and Kalisk. Using his speed and agility, Dek managed to slice Kalisk down, but Kalisk quickly regenerated his limbs. He easily overpowered Dek and tossed him away like a ragdoll, crushing Thea's legs into fragments. Dek tried his best to match Kalisk's strength but kept fighting quickly and relentlessly. Thea also entered the fight, firing her gun. Dek wrapped Kalisk in chains, ignored Thea's pleas, and sprinted up Kalisk's tail before jumping onto his head and cutting it off. However, Kalisk regenerated yet again and launched another attack. Tessa intervenes, freezing both hunter and beast and imprisoning them. Inside her facility, Tessa experiments on Deck, manipulating his mind and extracting samples. Thea opposes her, realizing their mission has become exploitation. She told him that he would now be working for them, which made Deck furious. Tessa revived Thea, and Thea was glad to see her sister. Tessa said their mother would be pleased that they had captured both Kalisk and Deck. Enraged, Deck believed that Thea had betrayed him. Tessa injected a substance into Deck while Thea protested that the Yautja were not suitable for their experiments. However, Tessa continued modifying Deck's brain and collected samples for research. Thea begged that they could still remain sisters, but Tessa responded that their mother had given them emotions only to study and take advantage of creatures on different planets. Thea insisted that Deck was different, but Tessa said she had come only for Kalisk and that saving Thea the last time had cost her greatly. She vowed not to repeat the mistake made by the Yautja's brother and ordered her men to lock Thea in a box. While one of the men was working nearby, Thea told him to explain Deck's device. The man instructed her to open it and check inside. As soon as it was opened, the device exploded, giving Thea the chance to escape. She shouted for Deck to run as Deck plunged into the water below. Deck made it back to his spacecraft, used his gadgets to treat his wounds, and became furious over his weakness and the betrayal he felt. Suddenly, the spacecraft powered on, and Deck discovered his brother's armor marked with the symbol of the wolf. Inspired by it, he gathered every natural resource he could find and forged them into new weapons. As he moved forward, he came across trails of Kalisk's blood and also noticed several buds nearby. Deck then infiltrated the base while Thea's legs distracted the soldiers. One by one, he eliminated them, with Bud also helping him take down many of the guards. Meanwhile, Tessa was preparing to transport Kalisk for experimentation, claiming that the Yautja was a defective specimen and falsely reporting that Deck had died. Deck continued his silent assault, killing every soldier who crossed his path with ruthless precision. Thea's detached legs eventually managed to free her, but they accidentally alerted nearby guards. Pretending to shut down, they waited as Deck finished off the remaining soldiers. Suddenly, Thea attacked and killed several more enemies with the help of her legs. Tessa was now ready to begin her experiment on Kalisk. When Deck arrived to rescue Thea, she was moved that he had returned for her. Bud appeared as well, revealing that he was Kalisk's child and that the captured Kalisk was actually his mother. Meanwhile, Thea attempted to access the control system using Tessa's biometric data, but one of Tessa's men interrupted her. Thea pretended to be Tessa, deceived him, and killed him as soon as she got the opportunity. Deck cut through the wires while Tessa hurled a freeze bomb at Kalisk, but Deck protected her, and Kalisk smashed the machine, killing Tessa before returning to Bud. Deck stepped closer to Kalisk and gently touched her, as if she were saying, "Thank you for saving my child." However, Tessa, barely alive, suddenly activated one final freeze device that destroyed Kalisk. The blast hurled everyone away. Bud was heartbroken as he watched his mother die. As Tessa aimed her laser at Thea to kill her, Deck attacked from behind and killed Tessa, while Bud avenged his mother by tearing off Tessa's head. Returning to Yautja Prime with Kalisk's head, Deck defies his father. When ordered executed, he slaughters the soldiers and challenges him. Though his father uses invisibility to dominate, Deck disrupts the ship's engines, revealing his outline in the dust, and strikes him down. As his father dies, he declares Deck worthy to lead the clan. Deck replies that he has chosen his own clan. Bud devours the fallen father. Deck stands beside Thea and Bud, reclaiming his cloak as a true Yautja. A final ship descends from the sky, his mother's arrival, bringing the story to its end.